Here's the question. Should the 49ers franchise tag Robbie Gould? They did it before. They did it in 2019. They placed the franchise tag on Robbie Gould. They basically have 2 weeks to make this decision. March 7th is the franchise deadline for pending free agents. Robbie Gould is officially a free agent. His 3-year deal's up. He's 40. He made 84% of his kicks last year. He made both attempts over 50. In the playoffs, he's never missed. Think about that. 8 for 8 in the playoffs this year. And I don't think he's missed in the playoffs, period, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Justin Tucker was the number one kicker as far as salary. He's the highest paid kicker in football. He makes $6 million. Jason Myers is second, 5.3. Chris Boswell's third, 5 million. Young Ho Koo, 4.9 is number 4, and Robbie checked in last year, 5th overall at 4.8 million. The franchise tag for place kickers comes to 5.4 million annually, which would make him the second highest paid kicker in the league behind Justin Tucker. Obviously they tried to improve the special teams this last year, and they did. They brought in a new special team coordinator, Brian Schneider. I thought that was a good one. And obviously George Odom, terrific addition. Ray McLeod was a terrific addition. They made some improvements in their secondary. They devoted there's some cap to the secondary in the offseason. Would you franchise Robbie Gould for $5.4 million or go into your offseason looking to roll the dice on a free agent kicker or a rookie kicker and somebody who's a little cheaper? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about this at all. I think it's all dependent. I think obviously Robbie Gould's reliability, the fact that you can trust him under pressure, the fact that he's been in all big moments and had to handle the pressure of having to make big kicks and he's succeeded in playoff games gives you a world of confidence that, you know, just a kicker with a bigger leg might not be able to give you, even though, at times Robbie Gould's range is probably like 50, 51, 52 yards. He doesn't really give you that 55 plus yard kick. And I do think the 49ers, obviously their kickoff coverage is not great. And I do think a part of that is the fact that, Robbie Gould's leg doesn't necessarily just clear the end zone or kick it off necessarily so deep. Now, I don't think that's the only reason it's there. Now, I have also some very, very weird insight on Robbie Gould that I've never shared for whatever reason that I guess I'll share now. So I actually live very close to where Robbie Gould's family lives. He
He's
lives in
got
the
3 boys. I
suburbs.
did an interview with him
Right.
late in
He
the
lives
year.
in the
Great guy.
suburbs. Lives in the suburbs here in Illinois. And I actually live very close to there. And so the impression people have around here, particularly my boss, whose kids go to the same high school that Robbie Gould's kids apparently go to, is that Robbie Gould at some point is going to leave and come be the special teams coach there. And
The
so,
Bears.
no, not with the Bears at this high school.
Oh,
Yeah, this is the impression. Now, I have no clue. I don't know Robbie Gould. I have no clue whether this is true or not. He
something
seems
tells
to
me the
say that he
kicking
wants to
job
come
pays
back.
better.
Right. He seems to want to come back, but there was a point where he wanted to go back to Chicago when the 49ers originally franchise tagged him in 2019. Obviously, a lot of that had to do with how good the Bears were in 2018 and how good the 49ers weren't in 2019, but it also had to do with him wanting to come back and be closer to home. It's a little different, right? Because he has to do where he lives in California and his family lives here because his children are not necessarily so young where you can keep moving them. They also have, their lives. They go to school and all of that. It's hard to keep relocating. And so yeah, I don't know exactly what's gonna happen here. I would actually roll the dice, Larry. I think at some point you got to get younger and go there. I don't think the 49ers will roll the dice. I think the assurance they get from Robbie Gould's um experience and consistency is something that they will not look to replace unless Robbie Gould says he's done or doesn't want to come back. And by all indications, he seems to want to come back. Um, but I don't think they franchise him, Larry. I think they get a deal done if he's coming back.
I mean, do you put the choice in his lap? Because I mean, if you franchise him, you can basically guarantee that you're going to keep him and
Right.
you don't let him go. I mean, he's so valuable and you're trying to win a Super Bowl and he's never missed in the playoffs and he's a leader on the team. I think I would franchise tag him. You're only talking about a $600,000 raise, 4.8, 5.4. I mean, it's all you can make that work. I'd rather have a veteran kicker that I'm confident in, my coaches are confident in, my fans are confident in, than, I just don't. There's positions on the field I'm willing to take a chance on younger guys. If I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, I'm franchising him, and I don't want to franchise him against his will. You know what I mean? If he really wants to be in Chicago, I think I would say Robbie will let you go. But if he's just kind of like, hey, I'd prefer to be in Chicago, but I could be happy here too. Then you know what? I think I'm franchising him. And you look out when you have a good kicker who's reliable. I mean, think about it this way. I'd almost rather have a reliable kicker with a leg that, where he can't make one over 55 yards than have a kicker who could kick one 60 plus, but he's not very reliable. I think reliability means so much in the for kicking, and he's a reliable veteran kicker, and you're trying to
Yeah.
win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And it's
I
only going to
can't
cost you
oh,
600
sorry
grand. I'm
about
doing
that.
it. I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, I can't. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
I
no, not at all.
can't I can't disagree with you there. I just don't think it'll take the franchise tag to keep him ultimately, because I think if they're looking to keep him, that means he wants to come back. I actually don't know if it's like you said, right? He gives them such an assurance because of his consistency and because he's going to respond under pressure. And then you also here's the other thing about him that you don't know about kickers, right? Kickers can get hot, but when they do go through that adversity point in their career where they miss a big kick or they're unable to kick kicks, can they come step out of their funk, right? David Akers never got out of that funk. Billy Cundiff never got out of that funk. Robbie Gould has gotten out of that funk multiple times in his career. In fact, he did it in 2019 where he was in a funk, he got injured, and then he came back and he was kicking fantastic by the end of the season. And so ultimately, because of that, I actually think the choice is really going to be his in a lot of ways, Larry. If he says he wants to come back, I think there will be a deal done for sure. But if he says he doesn't want to come back, that's when it becomes difficult. But I think the 49ers are just going to keep the door open and let him decide. And that's where I don't know if it would take a franchise tag to bring him back, if that makes sense.